are sorry to inform you that there is no sacrifice on Block Explorer we are making. Just something to be left as community heritage. Long live the Midgard.
What the hex is you guys talking about?
Good morning, you guys. When Bob's.
I'm going up into the right.
Hey guys, this video is for the people in crypto, okay? Today I got a delivery from Amazon for this book that I highly want to recommend to people who are in crypto and they plan to take profits this cycle.
Mr. Papa Boner, you're right, sir. We are. We just are. Like, the most thing I can see is like 6 months ahead. This guy can see stuff 4 years ahead. So we are retards. And that's me here 18 hours a day. Maybe if I'm lucky, 6 months ahead.
What do you think about people taking everything you say and looking into it much like your birthday, November, whatever? It disgusts me, and I wish you guys would do better shit with your time. It really is disgusting. Stop fucking around and making shit up because you're bored or you're hoping that it makes a dip go away or something. It is retarded and disgusting. Like Half-Life 3 confirmed, it's not a very good joke. It's a garbage tier joke, truly. And I would prefer not to see Half-Life 3 confirmed kind of trash in the Hex community. So if you guys could stop saying stupid crap, that'd be fabulous. When there's something that I want you to know about, I'm going to tell you. It's not rocket science.
Greetings, young Vikings. I'm here to inform you that Midgard Block Explorer is close to being fully indexed. I have to tell you, updates are done on hourly basis. I can't wait to show you Valhalla.
What the stream?
What the hex?
What the hex is going on? What the
hex
Hans?
Already we have a guest. Look at this.
What the Hans?
What the Hans?
Welcome, you guys. You see, I'm back. I'm back now in my own basement. I left my mother's basement. Now I'm in my own basement. So there you go.
This
Papa
basement doesn't come with free chicken tendies every half hour.
No, but I've got the lava exploding all around me, you see? And it's a green candle day. We're pumping, you guys. We got the Midgard, the lead developer of the Midgard Block Explorer team here on the show. Welcome, Hans.
Thank you.
Got 50 people live right out the gate. That's amazing. Thanks for showing up, everybody. Hope you guys have some questions. We're going to take a deep dive into the latest Block Explorer for Pulsechain, huh? But
can't wait.
The main question of the day is, what came first? The chicken or the egg? The duck or the Greg?
The chicken came about 300 million years after the egg.
What?
I don't have that much time to wait.
Was that a rhetorical question? Some people say on the Twitters that he tweeted the same thing 3.5 years ago, and on the day, Hex price chart went parabolic. So what is it, Hans? What did you make of this tweet of his?
Dude, I have no idea. Like, honestly. But it's fun to read into it. If he tweeted the same thing 3.5 years ago, well, cool.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a sign.
Was it exactly word for word the same? Because if he just simply gave an Easter egg, like I heard people kind of whispering about, it's different than the exact same words on the exact same day, and then we can get excited. But I don't think it was the same tweet. I think maybe before he said, how many eggs does it take to make a nice omelet or something? You know, it's like eggs were talked about and then parabolic action. I don't think it was exactly the same, was it? Can anybody confirm?
And he said the egg was first. That's what he said.
It's true. The egg was first.
Let's see who's first in the chat here, shall we? We got Tam Tam showing up first. Good to see you, Tam Tam. I hope your wallet problems that we try to resolve on the back end, I hope that's all working out for you. Crypto Steve is here. Got the Hex Pharmacist in the house. Good to see you. That's also part of your crew. Toby. Oh, Toby's already complaining. See,
that's what he said to his girlfriend. Unfortunately,
so we may or may not be able to do TA with Toby. Depends on how much we have to talk about the block explorer. Archie S is in the house. Pulsecoin. Good to see you. Got Jorn checking in. It's a very Nordic chat today.
Yeah. Why did you bring all the Vikings into
all
the
the
chat?
Vikings in the chat?
I know they did the rounds and tweeted around.
Hans, yes. Wait, can I jump the gun and ask you a burning question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Have you seen the U.S. commercials for Viking cruises? And they got the voiceover. It says, "See Europe the way it was meant to be.
No.
See it with Viking." Does she have good pronunciation or not?
I haven't seen it.
How dare you, sir? Continue.
I'm sorry.
All right. So
I keep myself buried under a non-digital blanket. So
okay, so
not much YouTube and
shut up and go back to coding is what I would say.
Yeah, exactly. You're delaying Midgard.
Go back in the kitchen and keep cooking. We need you.
Got Crispy Man in the house, Hex on Air. Man, that's a live crowd with 70 people live right now.
Wow.
So Hans, why?
Why
Block Explorer? Can you just, for context sake, give a little bit of a background? Like, are you day one Hexagon like the rest of us, or did you join later into the Richard Hart ecosystem? How long you guys has been around, and what are the projects you've been working on?
Yeah. So I was one of those people who sat down and I knew of Richard Hart. Watched some of his streams, followed him on Twitter from time to time. But I was one of those people who looked at Hex, the Hex launch, and said, "Oh, this is a bad idea."
Good night, everybody.
Then I looked at the price chart, and I was like, "Okay, I missed out."
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I've been around in this space for a long time. I haven't been very public. I haven't really made anything for others. I've made stuff for myself. And the team behind Midgard were 5 people. And we've been working on various projects for like 2 to 3 years. We were here pre-Pulsechain days during the sacrifice phases. Most of us sacrificed for Pulsechain and Pulsex.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you joined around that time, really, after the all-time highs and the when the sacrifice. Most people came for the Pulsex sacrifice. Like that's when
that's the big push.
That's the big one that made the rounds, and then people just realized, oh, there was another sacrifice for Pulsechain only 6 months prior, and then we had all this speculation, like, yes, these people, they definitely need to get their hands on some Pulse as soon as it launches, but none of these strategies have really worked out. What keeps you excited about the Pulsechain ecosystem that even, we have 2 years. If we're real, first we waited 2 years for the bloody chain to go live, which was, expected, no expectations, but still people expected to be 3 to 4 months after SAC, but that became 2 years. And now we have another 2 years of abysmal price performance. What keeps someone like you still, developing and working on stuff for Pulsechain? What keeps your spirits up?
Well, it's quite easy. Frankly, show me one other community that's been so far down as the Pulsechain, PulseX communities over such a long period of time and still have great engagement.
Yeah.
If you go to Twitter and you tag Hex or Pulse or engage in any of our smaller subculture groups, you'll get amazing traction and amazing engagement. You won't have anything close to that on other EVMs.
Mm-hmm. So you believe in Richard saying most important thing is the community?
Yeah.
I mean,
hold on a second. Wait a minute, DJ. This is like molasses in February. Let me say, I got a hot question for Hans. Okay, Pulsechain launches. The block explorer that Richard points to, you open it up for the first time. What's your first reaction?
First reaction. So I used the testnet versions for V2B and V4.
Okay,
those worked kind of okay.
Kind of okay. Okay.
Kind of okay.
And you thought that certainly this is just like a not for prime time version. He's not going to launch with this, right? I mean, what was your technical, like, from somebody who can see both sides of things and knows the deficiencies? What was the reaction like from someone technical like yourself when you saw the launch and then the link to the block explorer and you used it for the first time? What was your feeling and how did you view that then and there?
So my first impression was this is perhaps not what we need.
Why?
Like, because it's slow, because it's clunky, because when you try to load a transaction, it just sits there and loading,
Mm-hmm.
error. Like, I initially thought that maybe this was due to load. So it was a bunch of people tried to get into Pulsechain. They were all checking their balances. Servers are just slow. Give it time.
Mm-hmm.
So we worked on other stuff. I worked on personal stuff. We're trying to index the chain, trying to find arbitrage opportunities between leftover liquidity on Uniswap, which was all I spent my time doing the first couple of months, basically. So I wasn't really paying too much attention to the block explorer. I could get most of the data that I needed myself.
Okay.
And then DBank came around, and DBank solved much of the problems that we had with the block explorer. Suddenly you could see some DeFi stuff. You could see some transactions. You could do your tax returns because you had a tool.
So you say some. You say some, and even then with DBank there were deficiencies still. And then back then that was like almost 2 years ago. Did you feel at any point I can solve all of this shit and bring it up to a modern type of standard? Or did you think, we got so many critics in our community and very few legitimate builders. Oh no, I won't say few. We have legitimate builders and critics. Most of the people like myself that don't technically do things are great critics. We say, I don't have this, or I need to see that, or why doesn't this work, or fucking Richard fix it, with expectations and all this other crap. But you have the technical skills. At what point did you say, I'm going to start making a list of the things that I don't see here and just kind of cogitate, let it percolate for a while, decide how to bring that to the community? When did you first say, I can do better?
Yeah, we first started talking about creating a block explorer for ourselves a year ago, maybe around that time, and we figured it was too big of a task to undertake. We looked at ready-made block explorers on Ethereum and Binance and what have you that we could just simply fork and put over to Pulsechain. But the thing is, so what you got to remember is the nodes of the network, the Pulsechain network, they're really efficient at storing data. So you can ask, how much hex does Papa Boner hold? If you know his wallet, like his
10
address.
hex. I just gave it away. Go ahead.
Yeah. So if you use your address and query the hex contract, you will get the amount of hex you hold. Same with stakes. But the node itself doesn't know this. You cannot query the node. Hey, tell me who holds hex. Hey, tell me who. How many holders are there for token A, B, and C? These kinds of data are not indexed. So they do this to save space. It's a very efficient database. It's a okay way to store it and to query real-time data. But for like aggregated data, which a block explorer essentially is, it's useless. So you could do stuff like Otterscan uses only RPC, uses only the nodes, and fetches only real-time data. And something like Etherscan fetches everything from a database. They basically take an indexer and run it from Genesis all the way to the chain head, which is the current block. They look through every single transaction. They look through every single log. Try to determine, okay, what kind of token transfer is this? What kind of NFT is this? What kind of DeFi action is this? So the limitations of these platforms, like these kinds of software, indexer softwares, they can only index what they're programmed to index. So if you look at something like Ethereum, I've heard numbers saying that Etherscan only holds about 70% of the data on Ethereum. There's about 30%, which Etherscan doesn't know what is. It might have it as indexed data, so you can read the bits and bytes of it, but you have no idea what it is.
Okay.
So you then looked, and one of the pain points is that you try to do a one-stop shop kind of an application, because Pulsechain, the official scanner by Richard in the beginning didn't show all the PRC20 tokens. Otterscan, you just mentioned, it showed the transactions, yes, but was missing out on all the PRCs as well. So there was never one thing that could conquer them all. D-Bank, you said, is another one. So is it fair to say that Midgard is a block explorer, but it's also a portfolio watch? It has that mechanism. Can you interact with smart contracts too? Can you send commands to the blockchain? So is that the characteristics that you try to do it all in one thing?
So if we were to fork something like Block Scouts or Etherscan, you'd need something around the neighborhood of 32 terabytes of storage, simply for the database. And you need to use fast SSD storage, and the money adds up. Like, that's costly to run and operate. So I sat down one evening and I started coding. I just played around with making stuff, and I thought, okay, wouldn't it be fun to make my own block explorer, since scan.pulsechain.com didn't load for me that day?
Yeah.
And I was like, let's give it a go. So I sat down 15 hours straight. And after 15 hours, we had a working prototype that was fetching real-time data from RPC, kind of like Otterscan.
Right.
So we talked about it the day after, our team, and we said, okay, if we can do this in 15 hours, is there a way we can do it smarter? Because you don't have to index everything. If you know what transaction you're going to look up, you can just simply delete all that data. You don't need the content of that transaction. You just need to index what's relevant. And how much space can we save by doing that? So we started looking at a hybrid approach, where we would end up somewhere in between Otterscan and Etherscan in terms of functionality. So we wanted the smart contract integrations, like where you can read and write to contracts, that is live. We just pushed an update with Wallet Connect, so we support a bunch of wallets now. We use a couple of sources for the source codes. So we've initially fetched a bunch of source codes from scan.pulsechain.com, and then we also fetched from Sourcify, which is this open cross-chain protocol for storing like contract data. It's a really great protocol for the creators out there. If they want to verify their source code, instead of verifying with something like scan.pulsechain, they could go to Sourcify and just verify it there, and then it will pop up on all the block explorers because it's integrated.
That's a great point. I didn't even stop to think that there would, if you want to, like DJ said, if you want to run commands, query things directly in the blockchain actively, you would need to approve a signature or approve something through your hardware wallet or something like this. Hopefully not just a browser-based extension. Do you have hooks also for Ledger and Trezor, for example?
I don't know if they're supported by Wallet Connect, aren't they?
No, I don't think so. I think that they're their own hooks for Trezor Suite and Ledger Live or whatever it's called.
I can't answer you on that right now because our web developer or front end developer Mats, he just pushed the update today, so I don't know what the.
I think it's around the corner. Like Wallet Connect connects with the wallet software, which then connects to the hardware. I think.
Really? Is that the way? Because I thought that because there's. All right, fine. We can look into that after.
I use a couple of wallets, like hardware wallets. I use some like air-gapped QR code wallets, and I use. Well,
excuse me. Sorry, I got something caught in my throat. Those are all Chinese technology, you know.
What the heck?
Yeah.
No, this isn't Chinese technology. So there's a open source
so the one you mean the poorly funded one from Northern Europe.
I mean the open source project that allows you to install an app on your phone.
I understand.
I understand the format. Then you take a device without SIM card, without Bluetooth.
Does it rhyme with enslave?
No.
It doesn't?
No, it doesn't.
So then it's Chinese.
I think you really like it, but we take that for another time.
We'll take it offline so I can.
Yes, we will revisit it. One last question.
I use those for my hot wallets, and I use Trezor for the colder wallets, and then I have like fully offline, fully generated offline stuff from.
All right, cool, cool.
Because we are like the hardware wallet fanatics on this show. One last question. Why, in your opinion, pure speculation, why do you think Richard didn't fork one of the existing block explorers right at the gate when Pulsechain launched? Like my favorite is ethplorer.io, for example. I'm pretty much only using that one just for the optics. You know, I'm not a coder, I'm not a developer. I play the music, just the DJ. I know my Hex stuff, but you know, I'm not that technical. But so for me, the look and feel has to be intuitive. That's very important. Why do you think that wasn't on his top priority?
I think, I think that it's threefold. On one side, you have to prioritize development resources. So the more resources you put into a explorer, the less time you have, or the more developers you need, or the longer it takes to develop the blockchain.
Right.
I think that's the primary driver. Secondly, like if you were to license something like Etherscan, that's crazy expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think it's an invitation for the community to develop, to get together, to create stuff.
Okay.
Like, but how long did you wait? How long did you wait until you got creative, came together, and developed?
2 years.
2 more
2
years.
2 more years.
2 more years.
Okay.
You got the message.
2 years between friends.
May. All right, let's take a look at it. Do you have a screen to share, Mr. Hans? And then
I do.
See it?
Oh, look at this guy.
Can I see it too? Can I see it?
Oh, you're too early, Toby.
Hey.
I'll be nice and quiet. No one needs to
right,
threat.
all
Hans, good to be on with you. Excited to see the demo here.
Yes.
So this is Midgard. It's very much a work in progress, and we could have held this internally and just developed it in-house internally behind closed doors and say, okay, just a few select people are allowed to use this and give us feedback and whatever. We decided that we'd rather have like the broader community use it and give us feedback. And we have gotten so much valuable feedback from users that come in and say, hey, I like this function on Etherscan, or hey, the Block Scout has this, or Explorer has this. So we end up with a really engaging community that's helping us, really helping us build this thing. So on the first page, you have what you expect of a Block Explorer, like the search bar. This is perhaps the most important thing with a Block Explorer. You look up addresses, you look up tokens, you look up contracts, you look up transaction hashes and blocks. So we have a lot of tokens indexed, we have a lot of contracts indexed, and you'll probably find your favorite tokens here. And we can take the tour and walk around, but I just want to take a minute and say that we just refreshed the Hex page because we think that we should lift up some tokens and some projects on Pulsechain, and we were exploring the opportunity, like the option of integrating dApps fully into Midgard to have a sort of a backup interface and be able to interact with everything in one place. So if we head over to...
And the URL for the Block Explorer for now is Midgard.wtf, which stands for
What the
fuck?
fuck,
I guess. So that's your first mistake, because it should have been what the hex.
What the hex? Yes.
What the hex? But if you guys come up with a top level domain that's WTH, I'll be your first customer.
WTH, that's where it's at.
Yeah.
All right, please continue. Sorry.
Yeah. So,
and guys in the chat, if you have any questions for Hans, this is the moment now. So please put them in, and we'll try to get to them.
Please do. Okay, so we can try to look at something interesting. So we have a favorites tab and the navigation bar here. And here you can favorite addresses and tokens. So we can go in the tokens list. On the top, we have a bunch of tokens in the community, all indexed. I think it's around 1,000 different tokens. If we favorite them, they appear. They
Type
appear
in
in the favorite
B9.
list. So we're trying to give the Block Explorer kind of a new look and feel to it. We're experimenting with different things. Some things work out, some things don't.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things I'm missing with Block Scouts is being able to like bookmark different addresses, different contracts, different tokens. So this is one of the first like innovations that we came with. And then we also, like, if you don't know what to follow, we added a bunch of addresses that we know the community likes to follow, like the Pulsechain sacrifice sets, Hex origin address, flush address, the OA daughter address, a bunch of God whales addresses. And we added a small description, so you can click around and browse and add them to your favorites.
BankX there too?
Well, BankX we should definitely add.
But they're out anyway.
Yeah. So this is the account or the address view of the Block Explorer. So like this would be you looking up like etherscan.io/address, like look at a wallet.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a bunch of transactions that are indexed. We are like, this is the big next thing. So we're working on a really extensive, huge upgrade to our indexing that we will not roll out in pieces a little by little, but we will just roll out a big behemoth at once, like when it's done, which is like 2 more weeks, isn't it? No, but yeah, I've been thinking it's 2 more weeks for 2 weeks now. So
Nice.
Yep.
So you're just like Richard.
Yeah, that's the theme here.
So we show holdings. We have a bunch of holdings indexed, and we also show DeFi actions here. So we can actually see that this address holds 4 hex stakes.
Right.
And we have support for Hex, Icosa, Helgo, Watt.
Hedron?
Well, the HSI thing was a little tricky. So we will add Hedron, but for now it's just staked Hedron in the Icosa protocol.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it will come. It will come.
Can I ask one thing? You touched on that earlier, but I didn't quite get it. Like, why does this indexing seem to be such a huge task? And there is Crypto Steve here who also questions his Pulsechain balance. When will that be updated and stuff? Because I thought all this information you can just tap into the blockchain and just pull it out, but you have to have some kind of a database. Or why is this such a hybrid thing?
Yeah. So when we go to transactions here, I just open up the Hex contract, and here we can see every transaction that's come in through the Hex contract. Every single one of these are people interacting directly with the Hex contract. But the thing we're missing right now, it's a fairly simple thing to add, but it's an extensive thing to add, and we're reworking a lot of stuff that's happening behind the scenes. So remember that you have to look through 32 million blocks. Each block contains anywhere between 0 and a couple of hundred transactions. And all of these transactions maybe contain between 1 and a couple of hundred logs. And you have to decode everything. And you have to fetch every single thing from your node. So it's a daunting task. It requires patience.
Hey, my mind goes back to, you're doing this without any sacrifice.
Yep.
You're just doing this. Why? Why would you take on all this development task for the good of the community? What's in it for you?
Pretty good question. So we come at this from like the reason we don't accept. We didn't have a sacrifice. We didn't raise funds in advance. Was we didn't want what do you say?
The drama.
We wouldn't be in debt to someone. We wouldn't have we wouldn't be putting ourselves in a position where people could tell us what to do, or they could have expectations of what we would do. We wanted to do this our own way. We wanted to prove to the community that we can do it, prove that we have the skills, prove that we have the know-how, build everything from scratch, because everything else was old, clunky, or behind a paywall. So yeah.
So
and
basically,
in terms of the
your
economic side of
investments...
it, like what we want to achieve ideally is to cover our operating costs. If we cover our operating costs, we're super happy.
How do you do that, though? What's your revenue
stream?
So
right now, it's nothing. But we did just open up for donations. So we allow people to donate towards the cause. They should have no expectations of anything, really. It's just a thank you for what we're doing. And as a token of appreciation, you get one of these badges here on the address the badges, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
We don't need those stinky. badges. No, I'm just kidding. Treasure of the Sierra Madre. Please continue.
Yeah. So
But anyway, and attached to that question and your beautiful answer, we've seen this before where somebody comes out with the killer app for the community that we all depend on and we all feel comfortable with, and then they pull the heroin away from us and run away and go to some other chain or some other adventure, and then we're left in like withdrawal problems. Are you ever gonna yank this away from us once we get used to it and endorse it and love it and use it, and we're all using it, and then you say, well, we're gonna go fuck off to some other chain?
Yeah, we have been here for years. We haven't escaped yet. We already have products that we did launch previously. So like, we have no intention of ever moving away, I think. And if we at some point give up or move on or be hit by the train, what we would do ideally is to open source everything and allow the community to take it over.
You mean after you get hit by the train, you're going to open source?
Yeah. So we're 5 members of the team. So if I get hit by the train, they might find a new developer or they might open source it. I don't know.
Okay, cool. So there's no key man risk behind the scenes of one guy decides to. Okay.
We all have access to the source code and yeah.
Okay, cool.
And I have
no North Koreans on your staff or anything, right?
No, so we're 4 Norwegians and we're 1 from Southern Europe. So
why won't you name that Southern European country? What are you hiding?
He wants to be named. So he's the only one that's not doxed by country. So yeah.
How south are we talking?
I think we're talking like Italy south.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Country with coastline to the Mediterranean. Yeah.
Right on. Very nice.
So where are you with the indexing progress, or what is the status there? Because I've been checking some of my addresses and some show all the shit coins that I may or may not hold. Others don't, like, but that's sort of like halfway there for me. Where would you say?
So we have indexed about, I think it's 2 billion address balances. Wow. So like 2 billion pairs of, here's an address, here's the token it holds, and here's the amount. And then we have pretty much indexed all the blocks and all the transactions, like the main transactions for Pulsechain, and going all the way back to ETH Genesis. What we're missing is the part in between. So like if you interact with the Pulsechain router, if you buy a token on Pulsechain, what we have indexed in our systems is your address being linked to the Pulsechain router. We don't have a indexed data that says you bought this coin, you bought that coin, you interacted with this and that. And the same goes for everything that's sent in batches. So if I send tokens to a multi-sender or a batch sender that sends out tokens to a lot of wallets, our indexer only sees like my address and the batch sender. So that's what we're batches.
We don't need no stinking batches.
I need batches. So you have to like really go wallet by wallet by wallet. It's not the case that when, let's say, you have properly indexed the Hex smart contract, that you automatically have all its transaction and all its corresponding wallets up to date. So that's not how it works, right?
That's not how it works, but it's close. Just give me a second. This has happened on stream once before. My keyboard ran out of batteries.
Oh.
Just give me
it's
a second.
Okay, we can while you're getting your shit while you're unfucking your keyboard shit.
Fuck your shit. Yes.
We can say, what's your impression, DJ Toby? What do you think so far from fooling around with this unindexed, unfully indexed block
comparing
Explorer?
to Autoscan, I have to say it's quite the it's quite the upgrade.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I like it. It's like I know that. I guess my big question would be, because I know that I've given some feedback on X, but is there kind of like a suggestions tab, or would there be in the future, like if you wanted a token that isn't currently available to be listed, if you had any other suggestions, like just like a suggestion box, like on Midgard itself, that might streamline some of that user interaction for upgrades or wish list stuff?
Yeah, that's actually a good idea. We talked about doing something like that on chain, where you could like send us a message on chain and or do a bug report on chain.
Got it, right on. And then is there? I think there is, but I'm not 100%. Is there a dedicated Telegram just for Midgard?
Yeah, there's a dedicated Telegram for Midgard. I can share it with you in chat.
So for now, that would probably be people's best option if they had questions or suggestions.
Yeah. Absolutely, it's the best place to reach us, and we're like the community has been really like welcoming and engaged. So that every single day people come into the room and ask questions or come in with suggestions. So it's it's
cool.
Fantastic.
But yeah, I like it. The other question is, because Richard had dropped something recently with his own little kind of Hex, or not Hex, but Pulsechain portfolio tracking thing. And one of the things I really liked about that one was that it was privatized. So it was, obviously locally stored, but you could also password protect. So as far as your portfolio stuff goes, is that locally stored? Because I know for a portfolio tracker that shall not be named, there was some concern that user data might be sold. And then that could be concerning for a number of people that maybe have used that portfolio tracker previously, even though, the likelihood of being doxxed would be minimal, I think, depending on the level of involvement with their other, trading stuff or whatever. But yeah, I was just curious, like, is it stored locally and then you can password protect it, or how is that information stored?
Yeah. So everything is stored locally within the browser environment. We have no cookies. We have no like offline storage of any analytics or any. It's just anonymous stats from Cloudflare, which is everything we got.
Sweet.
Yeah. So everything here is stored locally on your machine, and if you go to another browser or another machine, it's empty.
Got it.
So
right on.
I'm glad you mentioned the portfolio stuff, because we just launched a portfolio tracker, because we do have the data. Like we know who holds what, and we know how much they hold, and we have a bunch of DeFi integrations. So I had prepared to look at some of the OA stakes.
Yes.
But they're apparently ended.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. So the flush address had a huge stake that was really short, like a month or two.
Mm-hmm.
That one's apparently ended. But what we can do here, we can.
So you're saying that because the portfolio tracker not just shows you your liquid holdings, but also your stakes.
Yep. It shows you your stakes, Hex stakes, and it also shows Icosa Hedron.
Right.
And then that's unlike the one that Richard shared. This is would show your Ethereum stakes as well. Or
no, we don't show Ethereum stakes, but we might do that in the future.
Got it.
Okay.
We support adding multiple addresses, creating multiple portfolios.
Oh yeah, is that just
adding any missing tokens? So it's like if you open up your address and you see something that's missing, you can just add it here.
Okay, awesome. And then as far as the wallet addresses, I think you kind of mentioned it briefly there. Is it comma delineated? Like, can you basically add multiple wallets at once? Because that was my kind of gripe initially. Like, it's like I got a bunch of wallets. Like, if I want to dump them all into this portfolio tracker, this is going to take a minute. Now, obviously, once you do it, you don't have to do it again. So it's not that big a deal. It's kind of a nice to have, not like a must have. But can you put in multiple wallets at once, or do you have to do one at a time currently?
You can do multiple. So you can do one comma.
Perfect.
You can do
comma separated. Okay.
Yep.
So we might refine this interface later, but when you add, they both pop up.
Sweet.
Okay.
That's beautiful. Hey, I got a question for the for the new people to the community, for the non-technical people. Now that we have this, or soon to have it fully indexed type of thing, what does this mean for the whole of the chain? What benefits does this provide other than ease of seeing our wallets and seeing the transactions and querying this and that? What does it mean for development in the future? What does it mean for attracting people to the chain? What does it mean? Because I've been told that having this type of thing, a robust block explorer, would be step one. So now that we have it, does this mean that we're having our... Tell me, what are the benefits?
Yeah. So our main priority here is speed and user friendliness. So we want something that looks cool, that where you can tell your Solana friends, hey, check this out. This is cool. We want to have like cool bells and whistles and features that you normally don't find on other places. That's the whole idea of it. So we always had the onboarding and the user experience in the back of our minds when we build everything here.
But you also have some innovation in there, right? To tackle the speed of the updates. I heard you using AI. Can you touch on that real basic to come up with
me,
like on a top
Can you give
level?
us a 15-second soundbite on how AI would work with it?
Yeah. So what do we do? I prepared a token that I might want to buy. Okay, say I'm a newbie. I don't know if this is safe. I've seen this contract on Twitter, and I searched it up on Midgard. So we didn't add this. This is fully automatic indexing, right? Trump, well, he's a cool guy. Maybe this is the official Trump token. What do I know? The thing is, so we'll swap these around a little, but if we go here, there's a link to scan with Midgard AI. So this will be like better integrated into the Block Explorer, but the first thing we launched publicly was a token scanner. And let me just swap my screen share. So this is where we use AI currently, and we're looking into if we can use AI for like telling you what a transaction is. What's the correlation between two transactions? What's the pattern of an address? There's a lot of interesting opportunities with AI, and I think we will do something really cool with AI in the next coming weeks. But if we take this token, this Trump token that we just found, and we scan it using our AI scanner, this software goes ahead and does a bunch of things. It tries to read the contract source code. It tries to read all the values from the contract. It tries to like brute force a bunch of functions that's commonly found in malicious tokens.
Very cool.
Right.
Yeah. Then it gives you a summary of the thing. Let's just see here. The thing we're not. So this is still in beta, and there's some like bits and pieces to it that I'm not fully satisfied with yet. AI can be inconsistent. So this time we got everything green, looks good, says it medium risk. If we run it again, it might say it's high risk. But what we tuned it towards the more pessimistic side. So it's like,
wow,
it's rather giving you a pessimistic view of the token than an optimistic view.
Makes sense.
So
it scanned the contract just now.
Yeah.
Just
so now it's scanned every single piece of the source code and all the contract read values, and it detected that this token has a blacklist function, and it also highlights the section of code and tries to describe, like to explain it in layman's terms. It has a
Oh,
set
if
rule
only,
function.
if only we had a blacklist function on Hex, it would have solved so many problems.
Yeah, that would be nice. Something that ends with X and starts with B.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Then it gives you, it found a couple of suspicious patterns in the source code. It summarizes the findings here and then gives you a final analysis summary.
Holy crap, that's beautiful.
That's great.
It's fantastic.
Uh,
I mean,
one
it picks up some of these things which might, make you go, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. So,
Yep.
but they might actually be needed or something. I don't know. It depends, like on the project. But I think it's a good thing for the layman user, so to speak, to make up.
There could be false positives.
his
Can
own
we
mind.
see?
Yeah.
Can we see you run the analysis on the Hex contract, for example? Can we
Yep.
see if it gets
So-
passing grades?
Well, if we run the Hex contract, there will be some concerns according to the AI. So, for instance, the flush lobby is something it says, this is fishy. And the same goes for the BTC claim Merkle proof or Merkle tree. So they say that the AI often says that this could be manipulated. There could be errors in the lists. There could be allocations or claims that you shouldn't have.
Okay.
But it doesn't have context, so it doesn't know that the period is long ended.
I thought it would come out with, hey, this looks like a better Bitcoin.
Yeah. Well, we I actually joked about
You can just
programming
tune
it when you search for Hex. You would just say, this looks like a better Bitcoin.
Yeah, right. The best crypto ever. Big capital letters.
So here you can see the risky
Buy
function.
it immediately.
Right. Just a big buy button. That's all it comes back with. Strong buy recommendation. Buy button here.
Yeah. So it says the mint function is a suspicious or high risk function because you don't
Nice.
know the supply tomorrow, inflation of token supply, devaluation of existing tokens, impacts. X lobby flush function, potential impact draining of contract funds or rug pull if something was, I don't know. This function allows the flush address to withdraw all ETH held by the contract. This can be used to drain the contract's funds and potentially rug pull token holders.
But where does
It
the ETH
doesn't
go?
know the ETH doesn't play a part.
Yeah, it was
Right.
kind of the idea of the flush
Yeah.
address, but yeah, okay. Yeah, so you need the context then. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
you need the context, and that's
Okay.
it's hard, and I think we'll get there, but
Yeah.
we'll have to very detailed, give the AI very detailed instructions. If you see this, then that, and the more things you add to an AI query, so we've all played with ChatGPT here, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And if you give ChatGPT a really long document and say, you ask a question about something in the middle, it might screw up or hallucinate. And we have the same kinds of issues here where it's called needle in the haystack, where it doesn't really catch on to those really small details. But overall, a good score for Hex. The only suspicious things it finds here really are the mints and the flush lobby.
Right. But that is really innovative here. So screw you, Etherscan. You don't have this.
You don't have this. So we plan on providing this as an API.
Yes. Welcome
where
to
you can
Pulsechain.
automate this
We love
into your applications or into your websites. We currently give every user 5 free API credits per day, which should be enough to look up a couple of tokens. And we also plan on doing pool analysis, so you can see if, hey, is this actually a honeypot? Can you trade it? Is it safe to interact with? Does it have any traits of X, Y, Z that you should stay clear of?
Some
Fantastic.
interesting tools.
Yeah, I like it.
Very cool. Speaking of tools, don't you think we should get to Toby's segment?
Well, I had a question first. I think this is much more interesting than my lame TA.
Well, we can come back to it. We got to get our charts out of the way at some point.
I mean, we can. Well, here what I prepared, because I know that we were trying to give as much time as we could with Hans, because it's very interesting stuff. I was fortunate enough to talk to Hans and some of those guys in the early days of an earlier project. Very nice guys, and I've seen nothing but high integrity throughout in what they've been doing that I've been a part of to a small degree. As far as I invested a little early, I wasn't paid in any way, nor did I provide anything of such value that would require me to be paid. I just talked to them a little bit early in a project of theirs, and they proved to be very, very nice gentlemen, very intelligent, and it's been really exciting to see what they've built with Midgard. So I'm excited to see where it goes next, and I do have some ideas in the green room after for some monetization stuff that won't come from the community that might be of help. But because I mean, at the end of the day, operating cost is operating cost, and you can't do that endlessly.
But Hans, do you have to run, or can you stick around for like 5 to 10 minutes? Yeah. Okay. So
cool.
then,
so basically, I pared it down to where I just wanted to do the big three. I wanted to do Bitcoin, I wanted to do Hex, and I wanted to do Pulse. And quite frankly, those are really the most interesting charts.
Bitcoin is moving right today.
Everything else is kind of like mid. It's like it's bouncing around. There's nothing real definitive as to where it's going or not going or whatever. The other charts are kind of boring. These actually are kind of cool. So I've got those. I can go ahead and share with you, and we can just knock out those.
DJ, it's time for a segment that we lovingly call.
Hey. Never gets old. All right, so we'll start off with Bitcoin. That's the big daddy. I got rid of one of my big green arrows. You guys always are giving me a hard time about my green arrows. I had a box down here as well, which we were firmly back in, and that was these two big boxes and previously two big green arrows were areas to look for that I put on that chart over maybe 2 years ago, because it's like I just saw us going in that direction with Bitcoin. There's a large white ascending parallel channel that's been going on all the way back to, I believe, 2012. So, it hit all the highs that we're familiar with, 2017, 2021. And then up here around just after the election, and then toward the inauguration, which we anticipated a little bit of a double top there, and then rolled over. I've got a little, whatchamacallit there, a fractal that we put in place from the previous run that we followed pretty closely, and we're kind of front running that now so that you can see the fractal here next to it. Looks like it was coming back up to the middle of this parallel yellow channel, and we'll see how well this fractal continues to play out. But right now, as far as slope and everything, it's playing out. It's just early. So the nice news is we were coming up to the midline of Midgard. Get it? A little nod to Midgard. Midline of this channel. And we just bounced off of it. So right now, we're at 96,600 on Bitcoin. I think that's pretty good.
Yes.
We are well above all of the moving averages, and we've got definitive on the, what are we on the daily? We've got definitive golden crosses, multiple on the daily. So,
just had another one today. Yes, it's very bullish.
Looking really, really good. So, I would say we might get a little resistance around this region and then push higher. The next resistance theoretically should be the top of this channel, which would be around $104,000 mark. The measured move out of that, depending on if we get there by the end of the month, could precipitate a breakout above the white channel. Let me hide this part. Yeah, so that's really what we're looking for. We want to break this top line of the white channel because that top line has not been broken ever in Bitcoin. So if we can break that measured move, let's say it happens later this summer. I was speculating that maybe we finally get a definitive and confirmed breakout and run, maybe in late August into September. The measured move on that puts us around $200,000 Bitcoin. So I think that's well in the cards. So that's that one. Moving along to Hex, the firstborn son, the baby boy, Richard's favorite. And I like Hex.
I don't know. The recent tweets have been more.
Well, obviously,
what is Ethereum?
That's and we'll see how it goes. But what's interesting is a few weeks ago I drew in these little green squiggles of like ideally where we could go from this little bounce down here. And lo and behold, we've kind of been following that. So it's like, obviously that there's nothing, too magical about that. It was just speculation that we could go up in that direction and then see where that takes us. So far, so good. We bounced off the top of the channel. These are 3-day candles. So over the last week, we bounced off the top of this orange channel twice. We're currently just above the 21 EMA. I could see us finding some support here and making another run at the top of this orange channel. Full measured move of this by mid-May would take us back to the previous white channel that it was in. If we can get a breakout on that and start moving up, then we're looking at a EHEX price of around 8 cents. And depending on how vigorously and how parabolic that run is and when it starts, the sooner the better, because obviously we're coming off the top of this white channel. So the farther down we go, the farther, the farther out we go, the lower the price target. So, if we don't do it until, say, August, September, then the price target comes down to around 6 cents. So I would like to imagine that in June, we finally get the breakout and we start to run. And over time, we get to 8 to 10 cents on EHEX. Without going into PHEX chart directly, if we continue at a 3 to 4 to 1 ratio of EHEX and PHEX, do the math, pretty simple. If we're at 10 cents on EHEX, that would put us at about 40 cents on PHEX. Combined, that's all-time high, right? So 52 cents is the gold number that we're trying to get to. Personally, I think it would be best for all of us and for Richard's bragging rights if EHEX broke 52 cents by itself. In that scenario, you put that 3 to 4x on, you're looking at $1.50 to $2 PHEX, which I think everyone would be thrilled with. So moving right along to Pulse, the gas token of the illustrious chain known as Pulsechain. We had a nice definitive bounce off the newly formed all-time lows back here in the end of March. Found ourselves in a new channel, had a little bit of a bull trap on the top of that channel and rolled over. We're currently at the bottom of this new yellow channel trying to work our way up. I've got this little squiggle in here kind of anticipating where it could go. If we break down from here, a full measured move down could take us not only back to the lows, but down to 4 zeros and a 2, which I don't think too many would be excited about. What I think is more likely to happen is we're just below the 21 EMA, so I would look at us getting back up to 4032. If we can break that and hold and get through the midline of this channel and get back to the top of the channel, you're looking at the 55 EMA. That puts us around 4 zeros and a 4, which would be very nice. Breakout and measure move of that channel takes us to the 200 EMA, which is 4 zeros and a 6. So edging our way up to the SAC rate, which is, 3 zeros and a 1, which should be right around here. And then, if we can get to the top of this giant channel that's been playing out since the beginning of the chain, and we get the full measured move, and let's say we get that breakout sometime midsummer in July, the full measured move might take a while to get there, but the measured move of that takes us to an 8x of SAC. I think that's a low estimate personally. Time will tell. I think people would be thrilled. I think we're going to get a lot of resistance at the previous all-time highs. A lot of people are going to think that that's it, and we'll have some sell pressure there. But then ultimately, I think we're going to push through that pressure and push higher. So it's going to be an exciting summer. It's been a long, arduous path over the last 4 years. Been happy to be along for the ride with all you guys, and buckle up. It's about to get fun. So
awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. And as the outro.
Oh, hold on a
Do you have
second.
any more questions for Hans before we wrap
You
it?
guys know what the favorite day is for a Japanese politician? It's Erection Day.
We even have a joke.
Okay, hold on a
We even
second.
have a joke from Finbear here.
Hold on a second.
It's a Nordic stream.
Look, yeah, it is a Nordic stream. It's a nice little theme you got there. Can we see Hans's face in big view for just a moment, please? Just a moment. I want to say something. I want to call something out. Can you put him as
On
biggest.
StreamYard, I would know how to do it.
But you don't know here. All right, Hans.
Well, if you pull me and Papa down.
Yeah, there. You got yourself.
Hey.
You got yourself. Can you do one of the guests like that? Same thing. There we go. Okay, Hans. I know you're a big techie guy, and I know you're seemingly doxing your face to everyone, but you can cut the Bradley Cooper filter. You can take that off now, because I'd like to see what you really look like. And I hope that the bull market allows you to afford an undershirt. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So, That was very exciting, and thank you again so much for relieving us of the Autoscan Block Explorer. And we have something to look forward to now, which is much better. It's faster. It has all the features, all the bells and whistles, as you said. It's looking the part, not like something out of Windows 95. So that's really cool. To close out, again, you said the Telegram is important for the Pulsechain community to give you feedback. How else can people get in touch with you guys?
Well, they can contact us on Twitter. So my handle is 0xhansp, same as the name here on the screen. And then there's also Pharmacist with a 1 instead of an I in his name, which is pretty active on Twitter. And you can also follow our official channel, so Scan Midgard on Twitter.
Awesome. And I've got the link down below in the description. So that's midgard.wtf. And I will add the Telegram link to the Telegram room as well later on. We're streaming on Twitch, on the X and YouTube. So across all the channels, we have 270 people watching live right now, so that people are interested. They're interested in what you guys are cooking. What is a roadmap? Do you have like something in addition planned coming up soon on Pulsechain? Are there anything you can share? What's the future?
So there's the main two things we're waiting on is the Behemoth index that I called it, which essentially is a Etherscan level index scaled down slightly for Pulsechain, which allows us to basically have all the functionality that Etherscan has, which I think is going to be huge. It's a daunting task. It requires lots of space. It requires lots of patience. It's
Yes. You've just been coined the new Han Solo. So
Han Solo, yeah.
Han Solo, yes.
Han Solo. But yeah,
so it's the indexing that is still key.
Indexing, it's a big part. Our indexes are running. They're keeping live. They're keeping keeping up with the chain. But we'll add a bunch more data in a couple of weeks. And we also have one more thing that I think the Chainalysis guys are gonna really appreciate, which is this transaction visualizer. So since we have this data, we figured, okay, why don't we dive a little deeper into Chainalysis and try to look for patterns through pattern recognition. So it's essentially like you load an address and it appears in the center. And then it draws lines to all the addresses that you've interacted with. And you can load all the transactions that layer also has interacted with. And you can start to triangulate and see patterns. Okay. So if a wallet is sending funds between each other, I've looked a bunch into deeply investigated like MEV bots and sandwich bots and front-running bots. And these typically, you don't know which address they're going to submit their transactions from because they do it programmatically, and they have like hundreds of wallets that they use for these bots. So this would allow you to identify these. Same with the guys creating scam coins. There's like a bunch of rug pulls that they earn like $1 and they rug pull. And they have this nailed, automated, figured out.
That's how it's done, yeah.
That's how it's done. So you can catch these guys by visualizing the transactions and seeing the patterns, seeing where the PLS flows, because they have to fund the wallet from somewhere. And
you're saying if an actor like that has done this over and over and over, you would see it on the visualizer. Yeah. Nice.
I see one question in chat, which I thought was funny. Someone said.
Which one?
Someone said that PLSX burns, not mints, but he says mints.
Yeah, that's where when we looked at the AI reports.
Yeah. So apparently the AI told the user here that
Oh, right, I get it. Yeah.
Like the PulseX contract had a mint function, and here's the PulseX contract.
Okay, hold on.
And if we look at the source code, right at the top, there's a mint. So there is a mint function for PulseX. What the AI doesn't know is that it can only be executed by the owner, and the owner is the 0 address, so basically announced. But it caught it catched that the code actually had a mint function, which the PulseX token has a bunch of functions that are not used for like DAO stuff and voting power and all of that. It's essentially just the same token as ink.
Is the price go up function enabled?
I don't know. You should head over to Midgard and check.
Ask the AI.
Ask the AI. Yeah.
When moon.
So here's a bunch of functions in the PulseX contract for getting voting power, which is interesting.
Awesome.
Excited.
So that's really cool stuff, and lots more to come from the looks of it. So once again, thank you very much for joining us today. Papa B, have you got any last words?
Yeah, Hans, stick around. It looks like at least one more person wants to come and thank you for things and ask some questions. Do you have just a couple minutes for us back in the green room?
Yeah.
You do? Awesome. Thank you. Okay. That's it for me.
Then it's an outro. Thanks for tuning in, you guys. Smash the likes, follow up, and we see you on the next one.